Hi everyone, today we're going to be talking about tuning a recurve or longbow using the bare shaft method. Bare shaft tuning is basically what you're doing is you're shooting an arrow without any fletching, because what fletching does is it corrects your arrow flight, and by removing the fletching we're getting to see a clearer picture of what our arrow flight actually is doing without the help of fletching. And by comparing the bare shaft impact point to our fletch shafts, we can start to dial in our tune. And basically what happens is when we can get our bare shafts and our fletch shafts to hit the same spot, that results in a bow that's going to be more accurate, more forgiving, and have really clean arrow flight. The process for bare shaft tuning is pretty simple. What we're going to do is I have 5 arrows here, and so 2 of them have no fletching on them. You can either take 2 of your arrows and just strip the fletching off of there, or just have, when you buy arrows, ask the archery shop not to fletch a couple of the arrow shafts. And then I have 3 with fletching in the exact configuration that I want to shoot. Now if you really want to get very technical with your bare shaft tuning, what you can do is you can weigh out, if you're using a 3 fletch, you weigh out 3 of these fletchings, see how much they weigh, and then weigh the exact same amount of masking tape, and then wrap that masking tape on the back end of the shaft. That's going to give you a very precise tune. But for my purposes, I really don't notice a difference. I have my 2 bare shafts, my 3 fletch shafts, and what I'm going to do is I'm standing about 10 yards from target. I'm going to shoot all 5 of these arrows into the target, and then I'm going to compare where my bare shafts hit compared to my fletch shafts. And you want to start at a pretty close distance. 10 yards is a good one. You can go a little bit closer if you'd like, and as we progress we're going to move backward. An important thing to keep in mind, especially if you're a new archer, is that bare shafts are less forgiving than fletch shafts, so you might want to shoot multiple ends with the bare shaft just to confirm your results before you make any big changes. And you also want to make sure that you're giving your best effort to shoot clean shots, really good strong shots when you're bare shaft tuning. We've shot our fletch shafts and our bare shafts. Now we can evaluate our results. And the relationship between our bare shafts and our fletch shafts can tell us everything we need to know and all the changes we need to make. So if you are a right-handed archer and your bare shafts hit to the left of your fletch shafts, your arrow spine is too stiff. Now there's a lot of things you can do to change the impact point of your bare shafts. We're going to stick to a few of the main ones. So for a stiff arrow, you want to weaken the spine. So what you can do is you can increase your point weight. So let's say you're shooting a 100 grain point. You can shoot 120 grain, 125 grain point. Try that and see if that helps. You can also shoot a longer arrow shaft. You can increase your draw weight, or you can buy arrow shafts with a weaker spine. Now just the opposite of that is if your bare shafts hit to the right of your fletch shafts. That means your arrow spine is too weak, and what you can do is you can reduce your point weight. So let's say you're shooting 120 grains, move to 100 grain point. You can shorten your arrow shaft. I like to shorten my arrow shafts about 1/4 inch at a time, just make those very small incremental changes. And one important thing to note is that when you're making changes, make sure you're making them not only to the bare shafts, but to the fletch shafts that you're using for your tuning. That way, you're getting consistent results as you make those changes. If your bare shafts hit high of your fletch shafts, that means your knocking point is too low and you need to move your knocking point up. If your bare shafts hit below your fletch shafts, that means your knocking point is too high and you need to lower your knocking point. So just cut off your knocking point, retie a new one on there, or clamp on a new brass knocking point. Let's say you have a combination of things going on. Your bare shafts are hitting high left. What I like to do is I like to address the up and down issue first, so I'll move my knocking point first. Once I have my bare shafts hitting on the same level as my fletch shafts, then I'll address the spine issue. Of course, the goal is to eventually get the bare shafts to group with the fletch shafts, so they're all hitting the same spot. And once you do that at your close distance, keep moving back 5 yards at a time and make the same adjustments if necessary. Just keep making those small adjustments and getting the bear shaft to hit in. Eventually you're going to hit a point where you can't get consistent bear shaft impacts. Your bear shafts are going to be hitting all over the place, and that's just because bear shafts are less forgiving. Elite archers can shoot consistent bear shaft groups at 70 meters, but for us normal people, 20, 30 yards seems to be about the max people can consistently get good results with bear shafts. So that's the basics of bear shaft tuning. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. We'll see you all in the next video.